Hi guys, what's up? It's down with Sideways. James here for Chronic Fatigue Syndrome, my friend, my enemy, my constant companion, day 99. So today I'll do this video on being self-destructive or self-destructive tendencies. However, I thought my living with chronic fatigue syndrome experience today could be I'll share something that happened to me today. Um, it's sometimes hard to differentiate, like this is something that's caused by chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia syndrome, and this is caused because of an actual physical or like a physiological issue you have. Anyway, so 2 days ago I did some training and I pushed myself a little bit further than I might because I was doing a one session a month just to do a little bit more than I would, just to push my body a little bit further than I would, just to kind of blow it out, excite it a little bit more than I usually do. And so that was 2 days ago, and then yesterday I went ice skating, so there was more stuff on my body. And then today I was going up a set of stairs and I was thinking, wow, my legs are really handling this. I'm really handling this. Go me. You know, my eating, my recovery must be good, staying on top of things. Well, about half an hour after that thought ish, I almost literally face planted into the floor. And it was only my training that gave me any indication that, oh, something's up. You no longer have control, and then it is very, 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 very sudden. I'm talking like, there's no way to explain it. Like everything's fine, and then there's no indication that everything's not. I only got like the slightest warning, and this slightest warning only allowed me to put my hand out. Now, if you train martial arts and stuff like that, you learn not to put your hands out when you fall. Now, I was bent over, putting my shoes on, so I was already close to the ground. But what saved me is my knee and my hand going down. So I was already halfway to the ground, which was good. But my knee and my hand stopping me from going knee and then face planting into the ground. Just because my lower back gave out, because if I have, I can sometimes have lower back issues, and I'll get like messages in my lower back, and by messages I mean like I can get lower back pain and I know that I'm about to crash hard, and get a really bad temperature, or I'll just have lower back pain and that will impede my movement, or I'll have lower back pain and suddenly my legs will give out, like today. Like there was no me to legs. And I spent the rest of the day trying to lie in a position that I didn't feel my back, and then just let the muscles settle and do whatever. So, you know, I don't know if it was chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia syndrome, but there was no issue there that needed to cause it. Like I didn't hurt myself during training. I didn't hurt myself during skating. Like I didn't fall over at skating, and during training I didn't hurt myself. I would have felt it sooner if I had have hurt like that particular part of my back, and I would have felt it during the exercise. So yeah, it's just one of those weird moments where, yay, my training stopped me from face planting the floor, and I would have gone down hard. I would have broken my nose. So yeah. Now onto the self-sabotaging. Sometimes when things aren't going your way, it can be very easy to convince yourself that doing an action you wouldn't otherwise take is okay. So some of us are different, and this isn't just with people with chronic fatigue syndrome, this is just humans in general. But you know, you got chronic fatigue syndrome and life feels like it sucks a lot, and you may sometimes engage in a self-destructive behavior that's less than optimal, doesn't help your mind state, your mood, your or your physicality or anything like that, your energies like that, energy level like that, but um, you justify it by going in like, oh, I've got chronic fatigue syndrome. What's the point? And yeah, it does sound similar to how I say, go out and have a walk or go and do an activity that you want to do because you're going to feel pain or sick anyway. But that will build you up. If you abuse something, that won't build you up. So a lot of us have trouble sleeping. Now, at some point, a lot of us will just give in and stop trying to rectify our sleep patterns. And like, so what's the point? I may as well just stay up all night and do XYZ activity and then crash during the day and then repeat the cycle. So we sometimes give up the trying to move ourselves into a better sleep pattern because, what's the point? Eating certain foods. So alcohol is not our friend, observably. Like, some people can have like a glass of wine here or a whiskey there, but generally, you'll find that it doesn't agree with a lot of us. And so you'll have people who will then go and abuse alcohol, but it's not just alcohol; it's any kind of food or drink group. What's the point? I'm going to feel sick anyway. I may as well have this bar of chocolate and feel sick. I may as well have this cake. I may as well have this second serve of ice cream. I may as well have this junky food. We lose the desire to move ourselves into a better place and just justify suboptimal actions on, well, what's the point? The point's very obvious. The point is you're worth feeling good. And occasionally having a second serve of ice cream and like, damn the consequences. That's not what I'm talking about. When you habitually self-sabotage yourself, you end up stacking the problems on top of your CFS. Like you've got chronic fatigue syndrome. So if a healthy person self-sabotages, then observably bad things happen. Well, you imagine those bad things on top of chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia syndrome. Like it's just a bad situation on top of a bad situation, and we don't need to do that to ourselves. And really, it was like yesterday when I was talking about if you want to change your mood or if you want to change from where you are and go do a thing, it's the simplest thing is just stand up and go do it. That's the same thing whenever you notice you're doing a suboptimal behavior, whether it's abusing food, drink, if you're not trying to look after yourself sleep-wise, if you're not doing any sort of movement, if you're just basically giving up on yourself, the fastest way around it, or out of it, or through it, is to start taking the optimal course of action. So, let's say that you have not been eating well. Well, just your next meal, make it a little bit better than what it has been. And each meal make it a little bit better and make the rest of your week a little bit better than it has been. Like, don't deny foods. Like, if you've been eating poorly, going cold turkey is really hard. Don't deny foods you find tasty and enjoyable, but you want to cut out those things that you regret later, like, oh, I feel sick. But the simplest step is just to start, and none of this, it is nonsense, like, oh, I fell off my diet, there's no, whenever I say diet, I mean eating plan. Oh, I fell off my desired eating plan, there's no point, I'm going to go back to eating awful again. Like, no, that's a cop-out, that's not a real thing. That's you just trying to justify your suboptimal behavior. If you fall off the healthy eating plan or the desired eating plan for a day, the secret to getting back onto it is to just start it again and get back onto it. Like, it doesn't matter, just get back onto it. Movement, just start doing it again. How you talk, just do it again. substance, alcohol abuse, do less of it. You know, like, oh man, I really smashed the beers last night. Don't do it again. You know, was it a good thing? No, don't do it again. Oh, but I blame society who don't um, believe in chronic fatigue. No one makes you do those things. You are it. It is self-sabotaging. So if a healthy human being self-sabotages through lack of movement, bad thoughts, bad nutrition, or some sort of substance abuse or sleep abuse, like not trying to move yourself into good sleep patterns, you know, bad things happen. And if you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, bad things will happen on top of your chronic fatigue syndrome. So it's just making a bad situation worse. And once again, I'm not talking about those times when you do all the right things and you know, and you say like, you know what, I'd like an ice cream cone today. You know, well, that's fine. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those times that you know I'm talking about where it's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay? So if you ever find yourself self-sabotaging, honestly, the fastest way, like once you've noticed that you're doing it, is to stop or to remove gradually into stopping. You know, if you can't cold turkey it, then remove, and reduce it, and then remove as much as you can into completely stopping. So look, thank you very much for letting me share with you day 99. Day 100 is tomorrow. I've planned something special. I actually don't know what I'm going to do for tomorrow. I'll find out when I get there. That's future James's problem. But look, thank you very much for letting me share with you day 99, you know, self-sabotaging. And look, if you've got any questions, you'd like to introduce yourself or feedback, please do so below. I will respond, once again, unless you want me to. And feel free to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button, and I look forward to sharing with you day 100.